Hello everybody. In our last video, we talked about different sorting algorithms. We talked about bubble sort, quick sort, selections, or not quick sort, bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort, or as I call them, the loop sorts. Effectively, they use just a couple of for loops or while loops to do their sorting. Bubble being the simplest, where we just bubble things up and swap a tremendous amount of times to get to where we need to go. You've got selection, which will go down and find whatever item that is. It does a whole bunch of comparisons to check to see where the item it's currently looking at needs to go. And then you have insertion, which sorts the array or list and then grows it to the next item, to the next item, and it keeps doing that until it's sorted the entire thing. shellSort is somewhat unique among the loop sorts. It's actually vastly more efficient. And if I run it, you'll kind of see what we got here. So take a look at what this does. Just a couple of runs here. What it's doing is it's kind of partially like splitting the array up into pieces, and then it's kind of doing a little mini sort within those pieces. As you can see with bubble sort, if it's already mostly sorted, it doesn't take long to finish at all. If it's completely backwards, it takes forever. shellSort kind of takes that idea and, I guess you can say, pushes it a little bit. Uses the same notion. We are just going to sort the little things inside, and then we're going to go ahead and sort them afterwards. So it splits it up into pieces. After it does that, it sorts those mini pieces, and then it sorts the entire array, then it's mostly sorted. That's why it kind of tends to be a lot faster than the others. Now, I just noticed a quirk on my computer. I have this magnifier here. And on my screen, I am clicking in and zooming in, but it doesn't seem to be showing up on the videos. So I've had to redo this video. In order for us to see what's going on, I've made the text of this a little bit bigger. So bear with me, hopefully it's legible. We have two sorts here. I have, of course, my bubble sort that we used last time, and this is essentially it. There's a lot of comments here, but you can kind of see there's really not much to it. It's like several lines of code. And then, of course, it sorts. Now, I'm not going to sort 100,000 for bubble sort, simply because I know that's going to take about 4 or so minutes. I am on my home computer, so that would take about 18 on the school computer, but it takes about 4 here. But if we start off with something simpler, 1,000, which is not where that's supposed to be. Here, before we get into like the actual stuff, let's look at the code here. Now, hopefully you can see all this. I have the same stuff that I had previously in my bubble sorts and all the others. We import, and we have a timer, so we can kind of see when this started, when it ends, and how much time's elapsed. And I have a fill, which fills it with random numbers, 0 to 10,000. The actual sorting function is here, shellSort. And you see it's a little bit more complicated than my other sorting function. A little bit longer too, but I tried to include nice little end comments for each of the blocks, make it a little easier to read, and I've got the line numbers on to help make it a little easier to write. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't done so already, obviously copy down all this code. That way you can run it and test it on your own machine. Maybe you'll be able to notice, the difference between my machine, your machine, or any other random laptop or computer you try to use this on. The school computers we use here at Northwest are virtual machines, and I've gotten a feel for how long they take to sort certain things. The computer I'm sitting on is actually a card in a TV screen, giant presentation TV, and it is actually significantly worse than the virtual machines, by a fair margin, actually. My home computer, however, works pretty swiftly, but I mean, I built it from scratch, so there's no reason why it wouldn't. So copy the code down, and of course you can pause while you do that. hopefully you can see everything and it's legible. And then of course my main. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is check and make sure this thing sorts. So I'm going to set it for 10. Let's say I'm going to run this. And I should see a perfectly sorted, yep, there we go, sorted array. So I'm going to turn it off now. And we're going to check. Now I've got some times, I believe, for bubble sort, or did I close that window maybe? Oh no, this is it. This is bubble sort 100,000 on my computer. This is bubble sort 10,000 on my computer, and this is bubble sort 1,000 on my computer. So I'm not going to make you suffer through all those times, but that's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. You see it kind of goes up by a factor of 100 every time we go up. Here, we'll try 1,000. We'll compare it to that time over there. 0. Okay. A little bit faster, I'd say. We wouldn't notice that those milliseconds, but now if I increase the size to 10,000, that was 2.4 seconds in bubble sort. 0.18 seconds. It's still faster than the 1,000 that we did before bubble sort. And if I kick it up to 100,000, we'll run it. 0.24. Now, it's going up decently, substantially, I guess you can say. If I set this to 1,000,000, we would sit here for a while, maybe a minute or two perhaps. But you can see how much faster shellSort is compared to the others. Oh, well, actually, 5 seconds. I forgot, this multiplies it by what? What's it going up by? 10, 20, I guess? So 20 of those, 20 something. Yeah, I guess that's about right. Now, at this point, if I went up to, let's say 10 million, you could test all these on your computer if you want. Depending on how fast your system is, how good the processor is, it will be faster or slower than what I've got going on here. But I wouldn't go too ham on it. If you've got a really poor system, this can take a while. And especially try not to have bubble sort anything beyond its means, really. If I go in here and kick this up to 1,000,000, even on my computer, I will probably be about an hour. 40 minutes to an hour, perhaps. So you definitely don't want to have to sit there and wait for that to kind of piddle on through. Well, anyway, that is shellSort. I hope you kind of see the comparison. This is one of the main reasons kind of the class data structures exist, to explore the different ways you can do things. Now, we're doing the exact same thing in both of these, but we're doing them differently. And we get different results because of that. Although the end result, or also, I shouldn't say different results, we do get different times. They have different efficiency. shellSort is vastly more efficient than bubble sort, and selection sort and insertion sort, just because of how the process of sorting works in each of these. Well, in the future videos, we'll see the recursive sorts next, so you'll really see what efficiency looks like then. So if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. Otherwise, see you in the next video.